Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we have something pretty awesome here. So we have the Inquisitor transport scythe, and we'll put that box away. And we will. There's my lovely face. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. It's one of those Lego sets that recently I've wanted, and so I bought it. Unfortunately, no need to talk about it. But yeah, no, it's pretty expensive. So anyway, we'll focus on the minifigures first. So in this set, you get a very young Obi-Wan Kenobi. Not the youngest Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm not sure. It's part of the Disney Plus series. So there you go. There's that. It has this really weird cape thing. I know what they're trying to do with it. They're trying to have it drifting off. Pretty cool. Pretty sweet. Very simple. Yet very cool. Next, I have no idea who these characters are. So we have a Reva. I have no idea who she is. Yeah, but she's got this really cool double-sided lightsaber thing. And we have the fifth brother, which is this character here, who receives a pretty awesome looking headpiece, and they've done a lot of detail with this character, and he's got this really cool thing where you can clip the lightsaber on his back. Oh shit. Yeah. And then you have the Grand Inquisitor, which I cannot pick these minifigures up for the life of me. Yeah. So he's got the same kind of thing going, and he's also got a cape. Reva also has a cape. And so, yeah. So those are really the fifth brother is the only character here without a cape. Now back onto the set. We're going to scoot this back a little bit more. As you guys can see, I mean, this thing is just really sleek. It's pretty awesome. There's no real place to really grab onto it. I find these panels can be very, very gentle. Don't be too rough with them. They're pretty fragile. The word I was actually looking for. Right underneath here, you just want to kind of sort of barely pick it up, and then there you go. So now you have this, and they lock in place pretty well, but there's nothing locking them. They fall down. But yeah, dude, this is a very aggressive looking transport ship, honestly. Just the size of this thing alone, for comparison, I will bring in my ATTE because it's one of my larger sets for comparison, so you guys can just sort of look at it. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, so a couple of things. The back, we'll give you guys a nice look at that. The back profile actually does receive these pretty cool looking thrusters with these translucent cyan blue, aqua, very, very tropical looking blue color here, which is perfect for like an afterburner thruster thing, which is very appealing in my opinion, that they chose blue instead of red. I think a purple would have been pretty appealing in my opinion. It would complement the black a lot more, but if in the show it's blue, then whatever. I think it's pretty cool. I have not seen the Kenobi series. I do not have Disney Plus. So I've not seen The Mandalorian either. So at some point I'm going to get Disney Plus, not because I support Disney, just for Star Wars. Literally just for Star Wars only. And I'm also going to probably get Amazon Prime so I can watch The Boys. Or just buy the complete series. Well, all the seasons until now. So anyway, those fold down, but when it's in landing, these wings are weird. They fold up when they land, and that's pretty neat. And so anyway, there's a bit of a play features. There's plenty of play features with this one ship, actually, which is kind of surprising to me. but you can actually send the doors up and down, and you can, if we take off the lightsaber off his back, you might have enough space to like unboard the ship, you know, make it seem like they're emerging out, which in my opinion is pretty neat. There's no real space for them to go all the way into like the hall or cockpit or whatever you want to call it. I got a minifig stuck up in there. And if you get a minifig stuck up in there, you just pull this down all the way, reach in there. I mean, there's no real space in there anyway. But yeah, you could totally do that. It's pretty sweet, actually. It folds down. This folds up. And you actually, surprisingly, you get a lot, and I mean a lot of space. So it's really surprising, honestly, how much space that you really get. First of all, you can actually open up the cockpit independently from opening up the whole thing, which this whole thing opens up a little bit, which is kind of cool. But if you wanted, say, a pilot to pilot this craft, you could just place one in there like so, and then shut that or whatever. But if you want to access the whole thing, this whole thing kind of sort of bends back. These fold up. Obviously, these can come down, so these can open up a little bit more. And this tilts back, which it already is. So this is it fully opened. I'd take the computer and tilt it up so that you can see a full profile in there. So right away we have these console-like things. I will say when I got the set, some of these stickers were kind of bent. The sticker sheet itself was bent. So the stickers didn't really stick on there all too much. As you can see just right there. It's just sticking up a little bit. That's because it was bent. It was in the package, which is unfortunate. But it is what I'll live. I'm not going to play with it, so I'll live, obviously. Back here, we have these really decent-looking light systems. I think that represents like a door or something like that. It looks like something you'd see out of like Star Wars door frames on like certain shuttles, I'd say, in my opinion. Yeah, also, let's see. It's pretty neat. But yeah, there's a lot of like room in here, and they got these two seats here. They got this really cool cockpit seat here, which is really neat. It's really cool. I don't know if some people do it like that. I personally shut it like this. I tilt these back all the way down and then let it sort of fall on. That way it looks like there's no gaps. There are a couple of gaps worth noting about. So I'll point them out for you guys. You'd be surprised, but the very front has very subtle gaps, but they will be in between here where these pieces meet. There's a subtle gap. You could probably see it right through here. If I take my hand, you could probably, I don't know if the camera will capture, but no, there are definite gaps. I feel like if they placed a layer inside of that layer, I think it would have minimized it by, say, 80%. There would only be a very slim thing of light coming through. But I think it's just due to how it is, but it still looks amazing. The other gap is actually on the rear side where this meets. There's just a huge gap there. They could have done something with that personally. It's a very notable gap, but I mean, who's really looking at the back of it? So I don't really see an issue with it. They have two flick fire missiles on both sides. I don't have them in because I don't care. I don't play with these things, but I do collect the missiles. I also feel like these areas, these plates should have been reinforced a little bit more. They just feel a little bit too fragile if it gets knocked out of place. But then again, if you assembled it correctly, it should be correct. You might have to mess around with it so it stays on there, but they're very wobbly, which I don't really. This one over here is it's not as wobbly as the one over here. I don't know what all that's about, but the whole construction here was really awesome. I was actually missing one piece, but it's okay. It was the I'll show it to you guys. Comes off of this, but there is a 1x1 angled piece. Looks like a fin. It's like a half a triangle kind of sort of thing where it's like this side's straight, this side's angled. See what I mean? Oh, I can't really show you. So it's like one side is straight, the other side is just angled, and it's flat at the bottom. It's like a fin kind of looking thing. I could probably show you if I remove it. I can always reassemble this part. Okay, cool. Yeah, so it's these little fin pieces on the back. These, again, they're just a fin. Yeah, I was missing one on the other side in the same spot. So, but it's okay because the set actually included a 1x4 fin. That's what I'm going to call them. I don't know what they're actually called. But to me, I'm just going to call them a fin. Okay. So both pieces look almost perfectly identical. And that is because what I've done is essentially used this piece. It's a 1x4. And you're supposed to take a gray 1x1 slab piece and place it on the back side for these two, and then the other one sticks out. Personally, looking at them both side by side, you can see where the gray piece is right here, and then you got that there, but then I have this. So again, it is what it is. No big deal. If it did not include that piece, I would have been screwed. Which I don't see why they just didn't use these pieces to begin with, but which is so weird because I thought that this larger piece, black fin piece, the 1x4, would have actually been used at another more important piece of it because it takes up more space. But I've thoroughly looked through here, thoroughly read the manual, and it turns out there, really wasn't anything there for it. Oh, shoot. There actually was. Bum bum ba-dum. Okay. It's a very slight detail, but actually it's right where it's mounted on top of. But Lego did not give me the right piece. It's a shame. Stuff happens. I think I can order that piece. I'd have to look into it. It's a lot of work for one piece. Personally, I normally really wouldn't care. What one piece is only going to cost 5 cents, $2 to ship. I'm going to pay for one piece. What nonsense. Yeah, no, I checked every bag, every crevice. In fact, what it was truly, it was just an error that Lego had made. Because these are all my spare Lego Star Wars pieces, so I can probably find it in here right away, probably. And again, I'm not one to really crap on Lego too much. I mean, I know there are some people that are very picky when it comes to the subject of Lego Star Wars. Here it is, this piece. So this piece cannot work with this. Okay. However, yeah, it just does not work. Oh, wait a minute. I figured out the problem. Never mind. I actually, this is so stupid. I figured out the problem as I'm reviewing the set. Dingbat. Let me grab one of these brick separators real quick. Oh, I got a text message. Probably isn't from a woman. It's probably from a friend. It's probably from a very annoying friend. One that wants me to hop on 1,000 different games. I'm just playing. I love all my buddies. I joke around sometimes. Speaking of which, I gotta hop on Discord. One of my homies is always on my Discord, and I'm never on Discord. So I'm gonna hop on Discord later and just hang out. I finally reached 200 subscribers, so now that that's all taken care of, now that I can. Now I just need to find the gray piece and 2 of those weird panel pieces. I was gonna say the reason I couldn't find it is because I used it the incorrect way on the other side. That to me is hilarious. In fact, I'm gonna flip on this light actually. There we go. Oh my gosh, look, I have lighting. Holy crap. It makes sense. Yeah, so I just needed a place to put all of my Star Wars. Okay, here's one of them. All of my Star Wars spare pieces from each set, because you will get spare pieces. I mean, there's just no question about it. Every Lego set you get spare pieces. So I'm just going to collect those spare pieces into this bag. So maybe I might be able to build something out of them. Usually you really can't, because you don't get enough spare pieces really to utilize in that kind of way. Never mind, Lego did no wrong on this one actually. So I retract my statement, because even though I say things, I can also admit when I am wrong. And in this instance, I would so happen to be wrong. And there's nothing wrong with being wrong. It's just you have to know when to admit when you are wrong. Okay, so now that that's dealt with, we're going to actually fix this by simply placing that there. Okay, that works. Yeah, if you just put pressure on this side and squeeze it into here, that works. Remember that, guys. This is a quick tip. I guess I got confused. I guess I was just speed building, which is something, it's a bad habit. I call it speed building. It's where you essentially, you push yourself through each step really fast, and you're not really paying attention to the pieces you're using. And then somewhere along the line, you use the wrong piece, and it works because the physics of Lego, because most pieces will so happen to work. And it can be improvised, and you just, because it's improvised, it fit on there like a glove. You just so happen to look at it and be like, oh, no big deal. And then you get to where you need that other piece that you happen to use as an improvised piece and you can't find it. This is that situation. I used this as an improvised piece because it works in that context, because you're only going to see this portion of it, which is exactly what a 1x1 fin would be. So this end is where the gray 1x1 slab is. Then I don't need the slab. I can just use this. So because of that, I improvised that as a temporary solution, and I didn't realize it. Speed building. It's a bad habit. But taking your time and working really slow sounds really lame. That's actually a wrong piece. It's supposed to be this darker gray color. And I know I have it because I had like 3 of these things left over. I first saw these pieces when I was building the Lego Speed Champions sets, and they're used for engine details. Awesome. I love seeing the pieces here. I've been seeing them on a couple of my Lego Star Wars sets. They're awesome, like little slab pieces. They're very detailed. Love the molding on them. My teeth are also going to look a little bit yellow, but or orange, yellow orange, but that's because I'm eating a lot of Cheez-Its. I know I have another one of these dang old pieces. I know I have one of them. I cannot find it. For like the life of me, I cannot find it. I don't know. That looks like it could be it, but it just doesn't look dark enough. I'll use it. You know, on second thought, it might actually be the right piece. Because when I put them side by side, yeah, they look totally different. One looks lighter, and the other looks like a darker, more metallic one. The other looks light and flat. There's like no. Oh, wait a minute. I think I see it. I actually think I see it. Hold on. Yep, I knew it. See how the other one's like darker, not black necessarily. It might look black on the camera, but it's not black. But the one on my right, your left, I think, if that's how this works. And then the one on the left, your right, potentially. Like I said, I don't know. If the screen is what it's showing me, then yeah, it's going to be this one is the one we need. This one, I was going to improvise it. So, but now I found the right one. I knew I wasn't tripping. Sweet. Okay, now I can show you a more accurate version of it. Because now, you guys will be able to see here. Now it looks correct right here. Not like a little area, which makes it look so aggressive. I like the angling. Everything is just angled perfectly. It's just a shame that it's just an honest shame that the set doesn't have other figures or like a side build or anything crazy like that. Because I think, you know, I don't know. I feel like Obi-Wan's the wrong figure for this thing. But then again, I know it's an Obi-Wan series set, so we're going to get an Obi-Wan most likely. But if we got a companion for Obi-Wan or something, I don't know, or another one of these characters, I think it would be really awesome. I mean, for the price to piece ratio, it's almost perfect, man. We get 924 pieces. This is $100 even. So for 3 really good minifigures and a kind of cool Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like, I'm not excited about Obi-Wan Kenobi, honestly. But it is, for what he is, he's a pretty cool character. Just very plain, in my opinion. But, you know, pretty cool. Unique hairpiece. Awesome. Truthfully, it would have been kind of neat if they did something like that Mandalorian TIE Interceptor set where they may have gave Obi-Wan Kenobi like a small like starfighter kind of sort of thing. Or something. It could be something completely irrelevant. But no, I actually think the price to piece ratio for this is perfect. I think actually taking Obi-Wan Kenobi out would be kind of cool as well. But having him there is kind of neat. Also, here is the bent up sticker sheet. So yeah, some of my stickers are kind of messed up because it came bent out of the thing. So to me, that's very frustrating because I bought it, I bought damaged goods. But you can't. What are you going to do? Order another sticker sheet? I'm not going through that kind of like pain to make my, like I said, like perfect. To me, it's just going to sit on a shelf so I can look at it. So to me, I don't care about the interior stickers. Maybe I would if I was like a Lego purist, but I, you know, if you guys watch my other Lego building stuff, you'll notice when I put on a sticker, I'm like surgically precise with the placement And honestly, you get a decent amount of stickers. I like that. I don't like too many stickers, but here you're getting like what, 9 stickers, 7 stickers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I was right, 9 stickers. Stickers to place total. Not too bad for the size. They give us a nice printed console control thing. I love when they give us printed console controls. Some tiny little stickers suck. I hate them so much. I hate stickers. I hate stickers. But there are some instances where stickers do look a lot better than the actual printed pieces, because the printed pieces, they can get scratched, vice versa. So in my opinion, it's whatever. But then again, you get situations like where your stickers come in on a sticker sheet, the sticker sheet's bent. So the debate between printed and sticker, I prefer printed, honestly. Maybe it's just as a childhood bad memory of stickers because they suck. I'm sorry, I just hate stickers. But yeah, no. Something you're also going to pick up on the camera is my light skin tone right here. So as you guys can see, I have what some people would call a farmer's tan, a nice muscle. But no, I have a farmer's tan because I work out in the sun all day long as a landscaper. So it is what it is. Am I that concerned about it? Not really. My hair's kind of sort of a mess. I don't know. I could have done a better job combing it, I guess, but I just did whatever. I'm lazy. It's a Sunday. I don't really care. Just ready for football to start, man. Got some Gatorade. Ready to watch my Cincinnati Bengals possibly go to the Super Bowl. But no, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go grab my ATTE and just show you the comparison, because this is $100. The other's 140, 130 bucks. But you get a lot more minifigures out of that set, but also it's like 1,040 something pieces. I'll be right back. You guys are going to be pretty surprised. I'd say this is actually bigger. Just my opinion. One of the few complaints I actually have about this set are the ball turrets, because the ball turrets have this tendency of popping off, as they are very loosely connected by these studs, and it's not very secure. So they do have a tendency, if you just swiftly breathe on them hard enough, like they'll actually fall off. I'm just kidding. I just breathed on my Lego set with like religious intent. So remember, this thing has legs. Just remember that. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. Look at that, dude. Let me get my hand all up in the bottom of that. Let me just. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think this is bigger. Remember that spider droid, the droids in the minifigures? I think some of them parts are also accounted for the minifigures. This thing has a lot more minifigures. Also, those minifigures happen to be clones and droids, which means clones sometimes get those visor things. So yeah, definitely. This thing just manages to be bigger for less pieces. Mainly because the panels here don't actually utilize a whole bunch of pieces. They utilize a bunch of small pieces to make most of the structure, but mostly large base plates at the bottom, large pieces at the bottom that don't take a lot of pieces, and it just gets the base started so easily. And then, of course, these take up a lot, tongue twister, a lot of large pieces, and plates to make up a majority of this. A majority of this build is actually just plates. These things are those like fin plate things that I was messing around with earlier, which also including those. But all the way around this are just plates covering everything. So if you think about that, and this is mostly the same way, just plates upon plates. But this thing includes a carry handle. It also includes a bunch of plate features and small buildables in the inside of this thing, and a bunch of small details. Like if each of these are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces to build each ball turret, there are like what, 8 ball turrets, 6 ball turrets. That's quite a bit. This thing takes up a majority of pieces as well, and so does like the cockpit thing here. But also with that, the interior, just the build itself, it takes up a lot of pieces to build each detail, and it looks extravagant. It looks amazing. This happens to look better for a lot less. And honestly, man, between the two sets, I say you can't go wrong with either or. I mean, these are pretty large sets. Honestly, I already have a majority of the 2023 or 2022. I forget what year wave this is, honestly. That's how out of it I am. I don't know what year these sets came out. So, but between these sets, I can't tell you which one I prefer. I like both of them equally. I think for the price and the value, you get a lot from this set, a lot of minifigures. It's a lot of fun. But this set, the Inquisitor transport scythe, it just looks so menacing. When it's complete, I mean, it's hard to believe that this thing is actually made out of Lego. I mean, really from a distance, I mean, remember, I'm going to pull this thing all the way over here. From a distance, it doesn't even look like it's made out of Lego at this point. I mean, you can kind of sort of tell it is just because of how shiny it is. And you can tell those are like Lego plates. But like from a distance, like you can't even tell that that's like Lego. Like unless you're in person. But on the camera, I doubt you can tell it's even Lego. Which shows how much detail Lego is willing to put into these sets. Which to me always seems to fascinate me. Because seeing how Lego sets used to look to how they look now, it's a different ball game, my guy. It is a whole different sport, in fact. And I think that's what I like about it, is that they've really improved. Now, they've had some great Lego sets throughout the years. And I was actually watching a video, and there was a core Lego memory thing. This guy was going to give away a Commander Cody helmet plate thing. He'll probably never see this video. But if you know the video I'm talking about, then you know who I'm talking about. But he said, just comment a core memory. One of my core memories that I mentioned was having the Hellfire droid, which is that circular. It has the 2 wheels. It goes really fast. And Star Wars, which I always saw those things. I'm like, wow, those are really cool. Until you kind of sort of know that, hey, in Star Wars lore and in the story, they kind of suck. Once they run out of like rockets and weaponry, when they run out of ammo, they kind of suck. But these things are awesome. And honestly, I heard a while back they made a Hellfire droid remake. And I thought to myself, the original Hellfire droid that I had as a kid, I actually still have those circular plates that they used for the wheels because they were see-through and transparent, completely transparent, where it's like perfectly clear. And the reason for that is to make it look like there's nothing holding on the tracks in place. The only problem is it just doesn't give off that illusion. And so anyway, I kept them and actually used them horizontally and stacking up clear pieces up to make stands for my Lego Star Wars ships. I only have 2 of them. Those clear plates are very rare. They're not common. There's only a few sets with them. And the Hellfire droid back in the day, was it 2006, 2007, 2008? Early 2000s. They were not that available. they were not available for the most part, honestly. There's not many sets I can think of that have those kind of plates. And then now those kind of plates in general, the circular plates, yeah, there's a lot of sets that have them actually, but clear, not that I can think of. So I don't know if even Lego produces those pieces anymore, so they might be worth money. The other thing is I actually started going through my old Lego sets. I actually got a hold of my bin with all my Legos in it. I have multiple bins. And honestly, dude, I was able to salvage out some of the Lego figures from back in the day. A lot of Lego Star Wars is what I was mainly salvaging for. And I actually found some pretty neat things. And so I found the B2 battle droids, which apparently Lego has stopped making those. Lego has stopped producing the B2 battle droids, and I don't understand why. Some people have told me that, or some people have actually told me that because the way that they're assembled is highly detailed and takes a lot of time or whatever to have those created, but they have see what I mean? Just the slightest touch and these things are popping off. But just they're very like precise with detail. And so it takes a little bit longer to produce them. The other thing I was told is that they're very stiff when they get older and they lose some of their articulation. And also it leads to them like snapping and breaking, which I will say most Lego hands, they break inward. I've noticed that with a lot of sets growing up as a kid playing with Lego, actually playing with Legos. I broke a lot of figures and stuff like that. Not a lot of them, but some of them. Like I say, man, I don't know. These Lego figures might be worth money. So who knows? Maybe just keeping them in perfect prime condition and collecting the minifigures on the side with the sets, organizing them in rows based upon their sets, even so much as labeling a row for the set number. So I remember what set they came from. I would like to actually show you guys some of my Lego Star Wars figures I was able to salvage. So I'll be right back. Some of them are actually kind of cool. I brought a couple of figures, not too many. But I know the scythe is supposed to be the main attraction here of the video, and it sort of became a side gig, really. And look at this. You get this awesome like carry handle thing. Oh my god, it's gonna fall and break. If it actually falls and breaks, I'm actually gonna just like despawn. And then I'll have to get all my equipment back. This, I hope I picked the right torso piece, but I couldn't find any other torso piece, so it might be incorrectly built. I don't know. But this is an OG Scout Trooper that I got from the indoor battle playset kind of thing. Along with that battle playset kind of thing, I also believe I got my R2-D2. And I also got was able to actually fully salvage out an Ewok. Yeah, told you I had this set, guys. I have a couple of the Forest Rebels. They're just scattered, and I'm just like, I don't know about that one, Chief. I remember getting a lot of these B2 battle droids, and they've held up really, really well, actually. I was kind of surprised. But yeah, no, they're pretty sweet, honestly. They're pretty awesome. They still stand, and they're still decently like stiff to where they're not loose and easy to fall apart, but they're also not so loose that the leg weight from the front half falls backwards. So there you have it. There's those guys. They still stand up fairly strong. I have a Mandalorian. He's missing his like helmet visor thing, I guess, if you want to call it that. He's missing that, but apart from that, there's a Mandalorian. Classic, man. I always thought that was Jango Fett, but it actually just is a Mandalorian. This is an OG, and I mean fully OG. I remember this face so vividly. Like this Lego face is actually burned into my memory. It's burned into my retinas. Look at that. That is a OG Lego Clone Wars clone. I don't know if you guys can see the face or not, man. That face is just so classic, man. And then there's the helmet piece. Look at that. That's the way they used to look. That's their old T-visor helmets. Well, not T-visor per se. Well, yeah, sort of T-visor style. You know what I mean by T-visor. The Phase 2 looks more like a stormtrooper in my opinion than anything else. But yeah, look at that, guys. That's a demolition clone, I think, is what those guys are called. But they look very similar to these guys. These orange guys. Orange is such a cool color with white. It is so awesome, so sweet, so cool. But as you guys can see, their helmets look so different. I love this part of it, though. This is such an iconic helmet, and it was in so many Lego sets growing up as a kid. I would love to see what a modern version of a classic Phase 1 clone figure would look like, because I don't think we're going to get a lot of Phase 1 clones anymore. I don't think it's the way of the future. And honestly, it's kind of sad to me, but it is what it is. But dude, that face is so classic, bro. Like honestly, dude. And then I have this Scout Trooper who also came in the same pack as these guys. It came in like a speeder pack kind of thing. It's like a battle pack. It was like a large deluxe speeder kind of thing. But dude, this helmet piece is just so detailed. Everything from like the roof, it's all one piece. It's continuous. It's one excellent mold. It's got amazing prints on it. It is just like perfect. He's got the one red arm. I don't know if he had both arms red or not, honestly. I'm trying to remember what set these guys came from, but I assembled it and then I lost it. It's unfortunate. I kind of want it back. I want a actual speeder. I want a speeder to display with these. I mean, I'd say they're about minifig scale, honestly. All of these Lego Star Wars sets are minifig scale, in my opinion. The larger UCS ones, people say, are what it would actually look like if we were the minifigures. Honestly, man, that's cool and all that, man, but I just like these sets more. They're less expensive. I might get a UCS set in the future. Well, I'm going to get the Maz Issa Cantina thing. I forget the exact name of it, but it's the bar from the original Star Wars. And yeah, I'm definitely going to get that in the future if I don't get kicked out anytime soon. I don't have to become homeless. It's a shame. Which, again, I don't think that's going to happen. There's a possibility that it might not. There's also a pretty good possibility it might actually happen. There's some stuff going on off the stream I don't really talk about too much. And just putting this out there. My life's sort of in a constant downward spiral. So always just be a bit generous. To me, Legos are therapeutic. So that's why I buy and build Legos still. But I always put my needs before my wants. So it's always kind of nice. Anyway, I have a classic R2-D2. That's OG R2-D2. Probably can't really see the detailing, but it is so like the gray is so much lighter, the blue is so much brighter, the print is a lot less detailed, and this is the modern R2-D2. Still no back printing, which is a shame. I don't see why they just don't print the back of these Astromechs. And they could even print the leg pieces as well. I mean, why don't we get a really detailed astromech? I don't know personally. But compare the two together, it's like comparing apples to oranges almost, I'd say. If you can see the two, like this one looks so much lighter and brighter. This one looks darker and more detailed. So, yeah, in my opinion, I think that they've seriously improved. Although, like I said, I like those Phase 1 clone helmets. They're in the heads are just like that face, that OG clone face is just so classic, man. Like, it is just something I remember so vividly because I had so many Star Wars, the Clone Wars sets. As a kid, there were 3 sets I really wanted. It was the ATTE, that 3-legged walker, the ATAP or the ATSP. I can't remember what it was. It was a 3-legged walker. And also the Republic gunship. And they had that Republic tank thing I really wanted, but I got a Republic fighter tank, but it is much, much smaller in scale. And it's kind of a disappointment. But it is what it is. Man, dude, I got to tell you. It's a shame they don't make the B2 battle droids. I'm telling you, man, they have to. In fact, I'm going to argue this. I've noticed that a lot of Lego sets are actually getting smaller than their former previous sets. I've noticed, like, for instance, like the battle tanks is one of them. But there's a couple of sets when you look at them, they look smaller, like the X-Wing that I got and the TIE Fighter. They're smaller but cheaper. Again, I think they look great, but then again, something bigger is kind of nice. Something larger with more detail. The larger it is, the more easier it is to detail it. But like I said, I think this is a perfect set, honestly. This set receives a 10 out of 10, and so does the ATTE. Although with a couple of these bad boys, I think it would be a perfect 11 out of 10 in the ATTE. You also get a spider droid, which could have been a crab droid. And also Commander Cody could have got the Emperor Palpatine, or in this case, the Lord Sidious, or Darth Sidious, whatever, Lord or Darth Sidious hologram thing, because that's very crucial moment. The ATTE is in a very famous scene in Episode 2, Episode 3, Attack of the Clones, and basically, it happens so fast. Or was it Episode 2? I forget, man. There's so many Star Wars movies. I think Episode 2 was Attack of the Clones. And then Episode 3 was Revenge of the Sith. And then, or something like that. Because I remember Episode 4, which would be the original Star Wars, was A New Hope. Second is The Empire Strikes Back. And then the third one is Return of the Jedi. So I think that it is Revenge of the Sith is Episode 3. I think Episode 2 is Attack of the Clones, if I'm not mistaken. It could be in that order. I don't know. But yeah, no, it's a very famous scene. And it's where the ATTE takes its main cannon, fires it at Obi-Wan Kenobi, and knocks him off that weird creature thing he was on into that pit of water, and survives, but they think he's dead. And they're looking all over for him. That is such a famous scene. Honestly, it's such an impactful scene. It honestly makes the most sense. And Star Wars is just pretty sweet. And in fact, you know what else is kind of sweet? You know what else is kind of sweet? If I can get it on there, if it will actually work. Giving a B2 battle droid this double-sided lightsaber, dude. That is just badass. That is awesome. Of course, now I got to get it off there. But yeah, no, these things have aged, like, in my opinion, they've aged like fine wine, because they're not a day over how do I say this? Not a day over 16 or 17 years of age as far as plastic goes. That's pretty decent for Lego standards, right? Okay, it really just does not want to let go of this lightsaber, which is kind of a problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the power of the Force. There we go. Without breaking the B2 battle droid, we're never doing that again. But yeah, no, these B2 battle droids, very rare today, honestly, because they don't make them anymore. They haven't made them for a long time now. So these things are getting a little bit more desirable. So honestly, dude, I'm gonna go buy that original Hellfire droid, the original one from back in the day from when I was a kid. I'm gonna buy it. I don't care if it's $100, and I'm gonna buy the later version remake and then compare both sets because I just remember that set so vividly. It never got complete. I remember trying to build it and then just it was too there was concepts I just could not understand because I was an idiot, a little kid, and I just lost my patience and just wanted to build random crap out of it. And it's like, whatever. And we used to always throw away the boxes. Now I keep the boxes because I understand that these sets years from now will be very desired, especially this set here. So in a way, I mean, just growing up and seeing people's massive Lego collections of Lego Star Wars, like these massive sets and stuff like that, I'm like, dude, I really want all that stuff. Never could ever get the big stuff. Oh, now I can buy the big stuff. Again, I'm up, find a place to live, do all this nonsense, get my car figured out. Like I said, I'm just going through a whole lot, but at the same time, it is what it is, and I truly think that Lego Star Wars is just something because as a kid, most of the games I started playing very early on were mainly Nintendo Game Boy games. Most of them Super Mario Kart, the OG Pokemon games. And then all of a sudden, I get a DS and then just get kicked on to Lego Star Wars and stuff like that. And so anyway, just playing Lego Star Wars all the time, and it got me into the whole Lego Star Wars line, honestly. And how I got into Lego to begin with, honestly, it started off with very simple stuff. Like I would just receive these tiny, like little Lego sets, But see, I remember one of them was like this diver character kind of guy, and had a harpoon gun, and there was like a shark or octopus or something like that, and there was like a piece of treasure at like this bottom of this like sand piece or whatever. They had you build a very small like coral reef sort of thing, I think, or it wasn't even that. It was just like some seaweed pieces, and it was the old school seaweed pieces. It wasn't that like detailed vine crap. It was actually just. It stood up. It was swervely. It had these two other swervely things next to it. Seaweed pieces, I guess. I don't know what they're actually called, but those things are very cool because they don't ever really get used anymore. So it's an older Lego part, but I remember them so vividly. Anyway, he had this like this thing you'd hold on to and it would propel him through the water. And you just had those two things and the little buildable shark or octopus or whatever. And that sort of was, I think, the first set I remember getting. I remember having other Legos prior to that were hand-me-downs from another family member. And so I just remember just building Lego City and Lego Indiana Jones was one of them. There was some weird, like, Lego adventure thing or whatever. Pirates, I think, so something like that. Was not Pirates of the Caribbean, though. I can't remember really, but anyhow, I do in fact remember getting into Lego Star Wars and loving it a lot because at this young age, I was already exposed to Call of Duty and to the Lego Star Wars Battlefront games and to other things eventually. And so having like Lego characters with like Lego guns, awesome. Because see now, because I was playing like Black Ops Zombies, like when I was like 8 or or something like that. I can't remember how old I was when I was playing Black Ops 1 Zombies. But I saw the stop motion YouTube video of this guy who had essentially built like a zombies map and was doing stop motion Legos Nazi zombies. And I'm like, dude, I want to do that. So I started doing that with all my Lego sets. And then most of them kind of sort of vanished. And then there was a point in time I just started building them and leaving them. And I wanted to start a YouTube channel when I was really, really young. Just did not know what to do or how to do it. So it just never happened. But I wanted to review Lego sets. Never really actually happened. Now as an adult, I'm doing a thing that I always wanted to do as a kid. And it's crazy to me now that I'm actually doing it in my 20s and enjoying building Lego. And so there's a couple of people I know that have YouTube channels and Instagrams, and they're just adult people like me. There are adult women that build Legos. There are adult men that build Legos. And as a man myself, when I have kids, I can't wait to get them their first Legos and help them build it and teach them how to build. That's going to be kind of fun, honestly. So, in my opinion, Lego is just something that's just a part of me, man. It's a part of me, like football, video games, firearms, cars, things I like, comic books, good stories, Mortal Kombat, arcade machines, exquisite furniture. I don't know. There's stuff I'm interested in. And so to me, it's always sort of interesting to me building, constructing, assembling things. And Lego started that whole thing. And so I got to give it to Lego here. They've done an excellent job evolving over the years with their commercials, their figures, their sets, the building methods to building them. The pieces have changed so much. Some of them don't even look like they're made of Lego from a distance. And just the impressive quality, the bump in quality is awesome. And there's so many different lines of Lego, really. For a while, they had these things they had these like little planet things you can buy. It was Lego Star Wars themed, and it come with a really small like Lego ship that you'd assemble that was based around that planet. And so what I used to do is I used to take fishing line or something and then tie it around this thing that it would attach to and then hang it up on my ceiling wall. Because when I was a kid, and still to this day, I have this fan, the ceiling fan. The fan's theme is space. Like each blade is like, it looks like outer space, and then at the very tip you see a rocket, and then the centerpiece that covers the light is actually a globe of the Earth. So my room was very space themed as a kid. So that's always kind of been a thing. So I use those for decorations. But I loved Lego Star Wars and building those like little microships or whatever, collecting them and lining them up. But I loved these type of sets. I just never got this type of set really. That's of this price point. I always got the $70 and $60 sets. Those are considered the big sets. I remember the Lego Death Star and just seeing it around, never really seeing it in stores ever really. I don't remember. I think there's a couple occasions actually where I have seen it in stores, but seeing the Millennium Falcon and always wanting the Millennium Falcon, which is something I do intend on getting this year, hopefully towards winter time. But I also want to get that Cantina thing. But I also, when I move out, I want to have a Lego room, just a room to put all my Legos in, building. Some other core Lego memories as a kid I remember so vividly was a YouTuber called Zazi Nambis, I think his name was. It was a kickoff of Nazi Zombies, and he changed it because whatever. But he would basically build things out of Lego that the viewers requested. He did custom builds. And what he did most of all was build guns out of Lego from like Call of Duty and stuff like that, from zombies even. He built like the Lego ray gun, the Lego thunder gun. Anyway, he built so many like different Lego weapons from like other video games like Destiny, Borderlands, other shit like that. And it was so entertaining to see the quality in which he would build them out of Lego. It's like, wow, that's made out of Lego. That's made out of something I own. So it inspired me to want to do stuff like that. I just never really had the creative ability to do that. So anyway, I think there's something wrong with the light bulb because there's nothing wrong with our power. Because if it was our power, everything would be twitching. Just that one light bulb, which is kind of weird to me. Could be a spirit. It could just be the bulb going out, which is most likely what it is. Anyway, so yeah, that's just some stuff about Lego and me. Even when I was a kid, there was like Lego movies. Actually, I remember there's one movie we rented from Blockbuster back when that was an actual thing, and essentially it's a Lego adventure thing, and you at certain points the movie stops for a second, and then you have to select left or right, and it changes the movie. And actually, it's so many different movies. It was the most rewatchable interactive movie. It was really cool. I forget the name of the movie, but if you do enough research, you might be able to find it. So I remember it. It was a Lego adventure movie, and that was kind of cool. And then I remember there was like this Lego magazine thing that you would essentially get it in your Lego sets, and then you'd put your name and address, whatever, all that nonsense, put it into the mail. It would go back to Lego. Then all of a sudden you'd subscribe to the whatever, and then you would get magazines in the mail of the latest Lego lines coming out, the newest Lego sets, stuff like that. Interesting things. Advertising the new Lego video games that are centered around the sets. And in some cases, just like, yeah. So when Toy Story 3 came out, they had Toy Story based Lego sets, which is Pixar. Now that Disney owns Lego, not owns Lego, owns Star Wars, most of our Lego stuff is becoming very Disney based. So Star Wars media, possibly, I think we're also getting like Lego Mickey Mouse, I think, or something like that. So it's like some of the media that it's a great way to expand it for the younger kids to get things that they're more accustomed to get them into Lego. I think that's kind of cool. Of course, Disney's kind of lame in my opinion. Even as a very young kid, very few Disney movies actually interested me. Although I did have this weird fascination with anything to do with the ocean. So The Little Mermaid was kind of interesting to me because I just had an interest in the ocean. But then, of course, Popeye, and then I don't know. I discovered BioShock and realized that anything else to do with the ocean's irrelevant because BioShock exists. But out of all the Disney movies, I like those really old Disney movies, the black and white animations of, just various things. Those are just so classic, though. And, but no, The Little Mermaid and Sleeping Beauty are probably, I'm not going to be ashamed to say this, but as a kid, well, not as a kid, but as an adult that once was a kid growing up in the early 2000s, it was kind of hard not to discover Disney movies. I mean, that's basically what every kid had. You'd go over to your cousin's house, they'd have various Disney movies, whatever. But yeah, man, out of the Disney movies, those are probably my favorite. I don't know if Disney owns Pixar or whatever. I prefer Pixar things over Disney. I just like those classic Disney animations, though. Those are just so classic, part of our memory. And some of them have very like dark secrets, like the Lion King. I'm not going to get into that. Like there's some like details in those movies and whatever. But I liked watching Shrek as a kid. In fact, it was kind of funny. Was it Shrek and Over the Hedge was another good one. There's just Open Season is another good one. Yeah, man, just like there was so much things as a kid watching, and I don't know. mouthful. But yeah, also because I had a fascination with the ocean. Forgot to mention this. I was obsessed with SpongeBob and the stories of Atlantis, and in general, whenever Net Geo Wild or Animal Planet would come on, they would talk about various shark species. I was always interested in that. Kind of like the movie Jaws growing up as a kid. That was such a classic movie. It was well established and was just a part of culture. But it definitely came out long before I was born. But when I was a really little kid, um, watching Jaws for the first time was just pretty cool. And just like that movie had just such an impact. I guess I don't know, but it's just such a classic movie for no reason. Like in Back to the Future, they mentioned Jaws. They're in the second one, I believe. There's like that 3D shark thing for the new Jaws movie. I don't know why, but they still thought that they'd be making Jaws movies still to this day. And ultimately, it's because back in the day, sequels are always happening. Die Hard got a sequel and got another sequel and another sequel and another sequel. Friday the 13th had infinite sequels almost. So did the Halloween series, and along with Nightmare on Elm Street. Those are like the big three slasher franchises. And also, the Amityville Horror had so many sequels, it's just unbelievable. Star Wars kept getting sequels. And so just people thought, I'm guessing, that every movie would just basically have a sequel. Some movies that didn't need sequels at all got them. So I don't know, man, but Back to the Future takes place in the year 2010, I believe, or something like that. It was a while back. And so they predicted some certain things. And so there was like a huge thing in culture where people were going Back to the Future, and they're like, let's see if what they said was true. Hoverboards. And it's like hoverboards sort of kind of existed, but they're not hoverboards. They don't actually hover. Um, yeah, man. They also have a Lego DeLorean from Back to the Future. And me personally, I know I talk about very sexy cars. The Ferrari Enzo, the Ferrari F40, the Lamborghini Gallardo, the Lamborghini Huracan, and the Lamborghini Countach, the Ford GT from 2003, the Maserati MC12. The list goes on. It will literally go on forever if I just get into all those nice high performance supercars. But in reality, one of my favorite looking cars, and I had this obsession over it in like later middle school, early high school, and throughout high school, the DeLorean DMC-12. Now for me, the DeLorean DMC-12, a lack for a better word, just the DeLorean is such a classic car. Like it looks just so awesome. And it was actually a car I really wanted. And so it's like hearing the story about the DeLorean Motor Company and learning about it more and learning about some of the things about the vehicle always interested me. The stainless steel construction. I didn't care that its top speed was like 88 miles per hour or something like that, 89 miles per hour. That had a very low powered engine. The steering column was kind of but it's the car that most car guys don't really care too much for, but it's a piece of culture. And if it was not for Back to the Future, the car wouldn't have been interesting. Why they chose that car, I don't know, but it just looks awesome. It is literally supposed to be the car of the future. It was so advanced and awesome. Like it was just a neat car. Sorry, but it's definitely a car that I would love to own an actual DeLorean over a Ferrari. I would, of course, love to own both, but the DeLorean has such an excellent history, and I have spent a majority, I'd say a good 5, 6 years of my life. And as a 20-year-old man, 5, 6 years, that's like 1/4 of my life obsessing over a DeLorean. And throughout my entire childhood, loving Back to the Future and always finding the car to be so interesting. I literally own diecast DeLoreans. I love the DeLoreans. So I'm surprised I don't have the Lego DeLorean. And when I can afford the Lego DeLorean, I'm going to buy the Lego DeLorean. I don't really care. But Back to the Future is awesome. They added the DeLorean to Grand Theft Auto. They've added it to um, Rocket League, I think was the other one. They have it in the Crew too. They have Back to the Future media in general, including the DeLorean itself, and in so much different media. It's just unbelievable, man. Obviously Hot Wheels. I love Hot Wheels. But the DeLorean is just almost, it's everywhere. It's a piece of history. I have a DeLorean t-shirt, actually. It's a long sleeve shirt. Not really a t-shirt. It's a long sleeve shirt, but it's got the Back to the Future DeLorean on it with some really cool, like, synthwave design to it. Because why not, dude? That's classic, bro. That's awesome. So anyway, without further ado, this set receives a 10 out of 10. That set receives a 10 out of 10. And most of the Lego sets this year mostly receive a 10 out of 10 in my books. I just think, though, that some of them deserve more detail. For instance, just the one thing that I saw with the X-Wing is those, like, intake thruster things. There are 4 of them. The front of them should have had a piece to sort of detail it more, give it more character, more, like, it looks more detailed. Instead, they just leave it studs, which just irritates me so much. It's just one minor detail. I don't care about the nose. I actually think the nose is more accurate than the actual. Well, no, I disagree. The actual nose that we got before was more accurate, obviously, to the actual X-wing. But still, no, the X-wings are awesome. That was my first. The modern X-wing here that we got is my first actual X-wing ever owning. I've never owned an X-wing. I want to get my hands on a Y-wing, and I really want to get my hands on a Millennium Falcon and a Slave One. Now, the Slave One for a while was my favorite ship in Star Wars. I like the whole feature where it lands on its back and it goes up. To me, that was always interesting. Also, Boba Fett and Jango Fett use a Slave One. Just iconic characters, and it just has that weird look to it that just looks so different from everything else. It's a piece of Star Wars technology. We don't get to see that often. But yeah, no, dude. The Slave One's pretty dope. We have a modern Slave One. It's just kind of a bit pricey. But I'm totally going to get it. There's a couple Slave One sets as a kid. And that original Boba Fett, like the original Boba Fett, is an expensive minifigure. He is expensive. He only came in, like, what, one set from the original line of Lego Star Wars from the 90s. Dude, that's classic, bro. That's classic. We'll never get helmets like that ever again. We'll never see Lego print those pieces ever again because ultimately it's never going to happen. I know for a while those anniversary sets came with anniversary figures. It would have been really cool if they start that stuff up again towards Christmas time. You know, because there are so many different anniversaries. There's so many different Star Wars movies that you can have anniversaries of. So, in my opinion, I've noticed a lot of Ahsoka Tano coming up in the future Lego sets. It's like a theme almost. I don't know if she's getting her own series or whatnot. But she's always interested me because she was only really ever in the Clone Wars, really. I don't even brought up in the prequels too much. So it's kind of like a side character. And honestly, I've never had an Ahsoka Tano minifigure before. Even when Star Wars The Clone Wars was the moneymaker back in the day. I just never had an Ahsoka Tano, and it'd be kind of cool to get that minifigure and to add it to the good old collection because she's, in my opinion, an underrated character. In my opinion, underrated. And Captain Rex is going to be awesome. Hopefully, we get a modern Captain Rex. So we've got a modern Captain Cody, and I just cannot wait till we see that Republic gunship because I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna get the Republic gunship because I've always wanted one of those. There's a lot of sets I've always wanted. I guess you could say that I can get now that they're being remade and reintroduced. I think it's kind of crazy. It's just it gives me this sense of what's the word I'm looking for? Nostalgia. Also, by the way, these characters, their heads were just black. Like, look at this, dude. So see how that visor is, how it is? To accomplish that, they actually have the head is just black the whole way around. And the idea is that the visor piece is where the visor is just hollowed out. So the idea is because the head is a glossy black, essentially with the whole headpiece being kind of like kind of like a satin, almost maybe less than satin finish, that the visor piece would be highly glossy to make it look more like a visor. It creates a sense of detail and depth that you'd otherwise not get with just a single printed piece where it's all one sheen. Because as you guys can see from this figure, the visor, it just does not look the same way. So it's kind of like a secret, like little detail, I guess you can say. And they did the same thing. Like you see how like the finish on this helmet just is a lot more glossier. Yeah, it's pretty neat, honestly. Something I don't think many people really talk about, but it's crazy because I know that at some point in the future, like 10 years from now, some of these minifigures, just people just won't know that the head underneath that is just pitch black. Like Lego did so many weird decisions to accomplish things. Their problem solving skills back in the day were very limited and very primitive by today's standards. It's like I said, it's just crazy to look how Lego has evolved. I'm not saying Lego back then sucked. Lego back then was awesome. A lot of their sets featured play features and stuff like that that I think ruined some of the detail with it and sort of took away from some of the things. But the original Republic gunship, the front of it actually opens up. I remember it. I remember it vividly. The other ones never did that. But seeing a new Republic gunship or hearing about a new Republic gunship coming out, I'm excited. Having my Republic stuff like the AT-TE I got here, having a gunship to pair it with, and my Republic assault tank, dude, my Republic stuff is pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Seeing the Gen 1 clones are the Phase 1 clones, man. These things are classic, man. These things are a huge part of my childhood. I had so many of these guys. I try to reenact certain scenes from the Clone Wars. This has been Solomon, SOLAMON, or in your case, SM, 36415, in some instances online. Signing off. And again, guys, it might be a long time till I ever post anything new. Again, I've been going through some pretty tough times, and I might end up losing living here. I might get kicked out. I will talk more about that in a separate video and address it as an issue, as a channel update. But yeah, it's like it's 9. Dang, dude. It's getting late. I gotta get something started for dinner. Yeah. But I'm just uncomfortable being alone here. It just feels weird. Like I don't feel like I'm alone, but I know I'm alone. It's just weird. Anyway, guys, like I said, I don't know, man. But we'll most certainly keep videos and all that stuff in mind. We'll try to do the right thing here, and hopefully I don't get kicked out. I just hope I don't. So pray for me, guys. Wish me the best of luck. And as always, I wish you guys the best of luck. And I hope you guys can live your hopes and dreams and aspirations and live your life to the fullest. but just be responsible. Anyway, guys, signing off.